We're on chapter 9. Strange things are happening in Creepers. The Gravedigger. Chapter 9. Strange Breakfast. The sizzling smell of sausage and veggie burgers filled the kitchen. This morning it was Jamie's turn to cook breakfast, and one by one his guests began to arrive. First was his father. No one liked a home-cooked breakfast more than his father. He said as he took his seat at the table. Smells great, Jamie. Paula walked in at the same time as Lex Killen. Good morning, Lex, he said as she breezed past him into the kitchen. Lex tried to answer her, but as usual only succeeded in spitting salt water onto the floor. Has anyone seen that horrible Ebenezer Crim chap recently? Asked Lex as he pulled out his chair. Jamie thinks he saw him a couple of times yesterday, Andrew replied. I did see him, said Jamie, still turning the sausages in the frying pan. You saw who? Asked Mummy as he glided through the back door and onto his chair. Ebenezer Crim, Paula answered. Oh, I wouldn't mind if I never saw him for another 2,000 years, Mummy muttered through his bandages. Count Vania joined them in the kitchen. Breakfast smells good this morning, Jamie, he said before taking his seat at the table. It'll be ready in a few minutes, replied Jamie. We were chased home from school yesterday by Ebenezer Crim, Paula announced to the table. What? Replied Count Vania. He chased you home? We're on page 88. Now, Paula, we discussed this last night. We don't know for sure if it was Ebenezer Crim that you saw following you, said her father. It was him, said Jamie adamantly. Last to join the breakfast group was Wolfie. He slipped in quietly and sat down at the table without saying anything, which was unusual for him because he's normally had a lot to say, even first thing in the morning. Jamie walked toward the table with a plate that was piled high with rolls, sausages, and veggie burgers made specifically for Wolfie. Dig in, everyone, said Jamie as he placed the plate in the middle of the table. What's wrong, Wolfie? You look a bit down, said Lex Killen. I'm just a little fed up, replied Wolfie. With what? Asked Andrew. With everything, he said. This new house, Ebenezer Crim trying to catch us with everything. Don't let it get you down, Wolfie, said Count Vania. You'll get used to it eventually. Andrew looked confused. Yesterday, he had this same conversation with Count Vania, and now he was acting totally different. You've really changed your mind, said Andrew to the Count. Now the Count looked confused. What do you mean? Asked the Count. Well, I thought you wanted to move somewhere else, like Wolfie. The Count looked at Andrew. When did I say that? He asked, looking even more confused. Can I have one of those sausages, please? Shouted Wolfie, far louder than he needed to shout. It was as though he was trying to change the subject, like he had something to hide. Of course you can, Paula replied. You don't need to ask. You know that. Jamie looked at Wolfie suspiciously. He knew that something was wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Wolfie stretched out and lifted a sausage off the plate from Paula. Without thinking, he bit into it and began chewing. Wolfie, Mummy yelled. What? He replied. That's a sausage you're eating. So what? Asked Wolfie. So it's not a veggie burger, replied Mummy. And you're a vegetarian. Wolfie looked around the table at everyone, and everyone looked back at Wolfie. Jamie knew that something didn't add up, but before he could question it, Wolfie got up from the table and ran screaming out of the door, yelling, I think I'm going to be sick. Everyone Everyone except Jamie laughed at Wolfie's mistake. "Something's going on here," he said to the others at the table. "Yeah," replied Paula, laughing. "He just ate half a sausage and he's feeling sick." When Wolfie returned, it seemed like he was a different Wolfie. To Jamie, it was obvious. He wasn't the same one that ran out the door. This Wolfie looked fine and a little taken aback with all the attention he was getting. "Are you all right now?" asked Andrew. "I'm fine, thank you," answered Wolfie, looking confused. "Are you still feeling sick?" Lex Killen asked. "Sick?" asked Wolfie. "Why would I be feeling sick?" "Oh, no," said Paula. "He's so upset that he's forgetting things now." The others laughed. Even Wolfie laughed, although he wasn't sure what he was laughing at. Outside, Ebenezer Crim stood watching the house again. The gravedigger appeared beside him, looking just like Wolfie. It wasn't Wolfie that had taken a bite of the sausage. It was the gravedigger pretending to be Wolfie. "I think we need to take more drastic action," said the gravedigger in a deep, menacing tone. "They're becoming suspicious now, and I want them out of that house by tonight." Ebenezer Crim didn't say anything. He just turned and stared back at the house, an evil grin slowly spreading across his face. It wasn't long until he was laughing out loud. Next time, chapter 10. And we've been reading The Gravedigger, and strange things have been happening in Creepers. Stay tuned, and next time we'll read chapter 10. I hope you're enjoying this spooky tale. See you next time. Bye-bye.